How you doing, Samurai?
Hey, Morpheus, how's it going?
No, I'm good, sir. So living your best life in 2019, how to get better at internet. Well, you don't really get better at internet. You should always stay ready for
Yeah.
I would say, the evolution of online personality.
hmm
If you have personality, you should definitely use it to your advantage because having this net, this gate between your IRL lifestyle or how you would carry yourself in person in regards to being online and having a net base of how many ever friends you want. I mean, I have like 200 plus people I could access through networks,
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, would you consider all of those people to be your friends,
I would say they are
or
potential friends. Would I
yeah,
accept them as such? I
uh
don't
huh,
know. I
because
haven't vetted them
because you
completely.
haven't vetted them IRL, I guess. And I
But I
mean,
would
some
say
of them could be, but
50%, 50% pass the approval test
yeah,
based on the fact that they're just genuinely nice people.
yeah,
And at
right.
the same time, they actually can play the video games they're booting up every day versus the tilt.
But I mean, this is an interesting question because I mean, the question of whether you fall in with a bunch of edge lords or whether you really do meet some interesting people on the internet and use the internet as a positive force within your life is it's up for debate, right? I mean, it's not a there are certain rules governing how you should use the internet, but a lot of people still fall into a lot of traps. And so your best life in 2019, what does that mean to you, Morpheus? Like, are you going to take the red pill?
I don't take a pill. I'm the one who created the Matrix. No, I'm just
So
um,
so what is 2019 to you? Do you think that yeah,
2019
a,
is
a,
not having a potato. Is
a,
not having
a,
a
a
potato
young
anymore, and making sure that potato gets me to where I need to go in the video games that
yeah,
are
right.
going to be on the horizon versus the ones that are out now that still are unoptimized per se for the average potato. But again, it's not hard to upgrade your potato even for $50 to $100 and get that boost of even 30 to 50%
what what
FPS. I
what do you
mean,
what do you see the best bang
I
for the buck in
reckon
terms of hardware?
definitely your GPU. Your
Yeah,
GPU should always be
the first consideration.
newest gen,
hmm
at least within the last 3 years. Again, like a good starting point would be like a 1060 to just make sure that you could meet the requirements of like say 6 GB
I would agree with that because
RAM.
I've seen people with even like sixth generation CPUs, and buying the latest GPU still gives them a considerable bang for their buck. They can play more games, they can play games on higher settings, and it may not be fantastic in terms of load times, but it's still better than not being able to play the game at all. I agree with
Yeah,
that. I agree with
I
that.
had sold a 2 GB Asus 960 for like say $90, and this dude was so appreciative of it based on the fact that he was playing GTA 5 at 800 by 600 and knew that
Oh my
this
god.
one small $90 was
Oh
going to get him
wow.
probably double the FPS, if not triple, at
Oh.
the same time being able to play at 1080p. So it was just unfortunate that he had like the same CPU, but yet his GPU was bottlenecking his PC down to let's say 10x what he 10x less than was capable of. It's kind of a shame.
I mean, everybody wants
The
that
current state.
RTX 2080, and they want the latest
That i7, yeah,
200 frame, like, sorry, 200 plus
FPS.
FPS with the super low 1 millisecond response. But at the same time, for a sub $100 investment, you can still play a large amount of games on most potatoes. So yeah, here's to the getting the most out of the internet in 2019, and keep looking for those bargain pieces of hardware. Keep building your PC. Don't just assume that you need to have brand new kit. You don't. And I
And
guess
never
that
underestimate the individual that's in your party.
and never
Say you're
individual.
playing
Yeah.
Apex or any other game.
Right.
It's not that tough to reach out and just say, "Hey, you want to run it back?"
Hmm.
Um, you run it back, and you just vet the person in one or two games. If you like them, you keep running it back. If you don't, you just dip. Simple as that.
That's a really good point. I
That's
mean,
the
often that's
you
the
know
way that you find new friends online. You try them out. You see if they work with your
just
playstyle.
stay in control. Don't let other
Yeah,
people
that's right.
push that
What do you tend to do when
that
someone gets toxic? Do you? I mean, that's sort of segueing into one of
I
our other
have.
other topics
I have
tonight.
clips
So I don't want
of
to.
telling people to never bag me again. Like, I mean,
I mean, not
like
not
crap.
everyone
But
has the
still,
same in-game mentality. Do you think people that are suffering, from some toxicity, just dip out and start looking again? Don't be held down by this idea that everybody is the same, because they're not. I really like the idea the gaming community has many different types of people to support each other. And that leads on really nicely to, I guess, the second topic that we'll be discussing. Morpheus, what about society's response to gamer lifestyle? Do you think that, considering how much the gaming industry is booming, right, that the response is commensurate with where things are at?
that the average person will have more value.
Hmm.
Um, just for example, I took my Destiny 2 account, flipped it for $600. I mean, it's not about the grind that I put in that got me to where I was able to take money out of the time spent. It was more so the fact that an individual didn't want to grind the game that I enjoyed, and then realized I didn't enjoy it anymore because the meta was so mm, trashy, limited. So it's like I feel as though the
Feels somewhat transactional as
pro
well. If
gamer,
if you can have someone like yourself, get an account to that level, and someone else just wants to buy it to have that sort of perceived gamer lifestyle of having a top tier account that somebody has ground very heavily, to a high level of
it's
skill.
just the value of
Virtual
virtual
in-game experience, XP.
that can accumulate into something that has a way to give back to you
Uh-huh.
when in an era, say 5 years ago, we didn't really have that
Mm.
so accessible. It only took 20 to 30 minutes for me to get that message from a buyer. So, I
That's
mean,
incredible when you think about the nature of that transaction and how little time it took. And there's obviously a lot of demand amongst gamers to be able to progress, and convenience and completionism has always been part of the game industry. But to see people so ready to buy somebody else's experience, it's really interesting.
and I wouldn't necessarily say that it's booming, it's trending, but at the same time, it's also loved. It's
Mm.
cherished. That
Mm.
time spent with your friends back when WoW wasn't WoW Classic 10 years ago. People are still reliving that experience today. To me, that says it sets a milestone for not just the industry, but the people or community that it surrounds it. That the people loved the content so much that they would still support that 10 years later. That's very good when it comes like in business terms. If you have your end user supporting your product 10 plus years later, I mean, you have a very successful business being run there. It doesn't
and
have to
and that's
be
true. And I mean,
that your
that's
product is perfect. It just means that your product provided for the customer
well
and they
that's
wanted to come back.
that's
So
that's that's true. But I mean, as you say, the game industry is not necessarily booming in terms of providing consumers with better games. It's booming in terms of providing consumers with more loot boxes, more surprise mechanics, more ways to grind out levels, not necessarily providing more content in terms of continuing to use that same game engine. Quite often what happens is the game engine will come out with a lot of fanfare. Players may get some kind of single player experience. They'll have a lot of fun with their friends. But usually pretty soon after launch, unless it's supported with a lot of DLC, there won't be a lot of new content. Often, even when there is, it's interspersed with a lot of grinding and loot boxes. And
How do you feel about that whole loot box scandal situation?
I don't like it. I don't like it on two levels. One level from looking at what it does to younger minds and how it makes people who are otherwise vulnerable already more vulnerable towards gambling. And then I don't like the fact that it, in many cases, puts content that I should otherwise be receiving behind further paywalls. And I would rather the developer was upfront about what the total cost of the game is. And if the total cost of the game is X, then make me pay X. And I can understand some people don't want to pay X. They only want to pay the upfront cost and have the whales pay for the rest. I can understand that when it's just cosmetic. But when it's not just cosmetic, then I don't agree with it. Like hiding weapons, power-ups, lives, better guns, attachments, whatever the case may be. I think it's silly. I think it just creates classes of players. I think the whole point of gaming originally was everybody is equal within that gaming world. So why would you seek to differentiate player classes like that? It seems confounding.
So, in terms of, say, 5 years from now, where do you see streamers like Shroud and those who are highly profiting off the streaming industry?
I just see that continuing to roll on. I see those streamers becoming, within the next 5 years, akin to the top entertainment talent in Hollywood today. I see them continuing to garner support, and with the likes of people like PewDiePie, who already have millions, hundreds of millions of followers, they've shown that they can produce a different kind of content and that content is still viable. So if you ask where do you see the top of that talent in the next 5 years, I would say producing longer format content, producing content that is more heavily sponsored, that has even higher production values. Probably Shroud, PewDiePie, and some of those guys, if they haven't already, forming their own production studios and becoming producers of other top tier talent and passing on those skills. What do you think?
I also agree. I would say Shroud's going to find himself probably continuing to be the face of, I wouldn't say top tier gameplay. I would say top tier gameplay with the support of people that see the fact that this guy just wants to make sure that he claps whoever is in front of him. That's the difference
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
With these top tier streamers is that I'm only watching Shroud and hosting him based on the fact that he doesn't get clapped. It's not about his content. He's not that funny to me. He's not. I mean, there's moments, there's pockets, there's spaces in time where you'll find Shroud actually being funny, but at the same time, he's super serious when he's trying to get his job done.
mm-hmm.
So those are the different
he's
perspectives
he's
of
he's
these
more
types of streamers, because some are
yeah,
content based. They can even be a pro gamer, and
yeah.
yet they still are content based when it comes to streaming.
I think the
But
only
again,
thing that
Shroud
might
rolls in the viewers based on the fact that it's just gameplay. It's
yeah,
just raw gameplay.
that's true. That's true. I think you're absolutely right. I think he doesn't need to be funny. I think he is funny at times, but it's usually just a quirky kind of funny that is unique to his channel. I think his content is his gameplay, and his followers love that, and they're super loyal. And someone like
I
him
definitely
has the
see
potential to take
a
gaming
Shroud
forward.
movie in 5 years, but I don't want to be the first to say that, put him out there. But there will be some
called it.
streaming movie, and Shroud will be in it for sure.
Morpheus has called it. There's going to be a Shroud movie, and it's going to look at streaming and all of the top
It's
streamers.
gonna be the new like what was that Facebook movie? Social,
Oh yeah, the one
but yeah, so
about Mark Zuckerberg,
Mark Zuckerberg. I've heard people call him Emperor, but anyway,
Alien Boy.
so again, in this era of the mask you can essentially put on the internet,
Right. This segues
it's
beautifully. Yeah.
yeah. It's not necessarily a mask. It's whoever you want to be, and it's accepted
Mm.
by most folk.
Mm-hmm.
That you can rep whatever you want to rep, and
And I mean, what would we call? Like, I just sort of summarizing this briefly. I mean, this is there's a phenomenon out there. There's a sea of trolls. There's a sea of scammers, and I mean, just sort of yeah. Topic for today, we really wanted to make a call out about what we need to see in a non-toxic and supportive community, and who are these people? Why are they so special?
and
So
where
let's
do they come from?
where do they
Race-
come from? Because every
Yeah.
time you log on, you'll see some comment down there. If you're not, if you let, if you know, if they thought you let your team down or you didn't get enough kills, if your KDS is too low, if you didn't pick up that item, if you let the team die, you're gonna hear from the sea of trolls. They're gonna let you know about it.
The peanut
and,
gallery, bro.
and
Like,
they're gonna let you know, and they're gonna give you some internet fire.
the average
So,
player is
yeah.
a trash can, for real. I accept the fact that I'm a trash can. It's okay.
But you're not a trash
But
can.
a
That's
lot
the
of
thing.
these,
I played with
a
you.
lot of
and-
these
and
folk
you're
don't
pretty amazing.
know that they're really bad, and
I know.
they're so open
I
and
know.
so ready to just jump down your throat over the smallest mistake that they consistently make, and that's one thing that I just gets under my skin. But at the same time, like, it's just, I guess, the sea of randomness and spontaneity when it comes to, in quotations, the internet.
It is, but
I mean,
I think you mentioned a really good point earlier. I just want to get you to elaborate on it, which is that every so often in that sea of trolls you will find good people, non-toxic people, people that are supportive of that community, and
wholeheartedly, I can
I know
I
you've
can
been
vouch.
witness to that. So,
I can vouch for, I mean, hundreds of people that I've cycled through over the past, say, 6 to 9 months, that I've just come in contact with, that I'm like, you know what? That person truly deep down is just a good person. I can't not push that person away. Like, I can't not tell that person that they're toxic, even if other people would be like they're toxic.
yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not going to say names or anything, but I've had folk like message me and be like, I can't yada yada based on the fact that this person is toxic, or this person has said whatever they have done. And to me, I'm like, I see that person's heart. Like, I see where that person's coming from. They're actually just having fun.
And
And the other individual doesn't see that.
I've been on channels where you've called people up, you've pulled people up, people have said dumb things to other people, and you've been the first to jump in and just hold them to account and say, why did you say that? And then they just
What's
try to
the
laugh
point?
it off,
Yeah.
and you don't play along with it. And I think that's a really powerful thing as well. I just want to call that out to other people. The fact that you don't have to chuckle along if somebody is saying the wrong thing, and
Yeah.
you can call things out.
I'm not one to be down for bullying. I've bullied before in my life, and I
I
regret
don't
it.
think anybody is completely, guilt free of that.
Yeah.
And it's part of growing up as well. It's part of becoming an adult. And moving
Well, there's a lot of
into
bots
adulthood.
out there, so it's fun to troll them.
Yeah, no, and anonymity
real.
brings with it the sea of trolls, and who better than the internet to start controversy. But the thing that I guess we just want to call out to all the people in the community, to all the nice people, you know who you are. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making friends. Keep making the community stronger, because that's what makes gaming so good. It's when you meet those people that are truly worthy of your time. They make your life special, and they make the gaming community as a whole stronger. So we salute you. I just want to quickly summarize the topics for today. Obviously, we had a bit of a chat about 2019, living your best life, how to get the most out of your potato. We discussed gamer lifestyles. We also briefly discussed top streamers and the community in general. Thanks very much, Morpheus. I really appreciate your time, as always. I hope to get you back here again because your brain is a minefield of, just really, really, really amazing explosions of just sheer and utter intellectual curiosity. And I'm confounded by you every time I speak to you. So I can't wait to have another conversation. Thanks very much. And is there anything you wanted to say?
It's lit, fam.
It's lit, fam. I like it. On that note, we'll end things here. And thank you very much. This has been real. Meme Patrol out.
Welcome to me.